Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to give you the summary of the lesson last leaf which is prescribed for the first semester BCOM students, Bangalore University. Dear students, the lesson last leaf is a short story written by an American writer O. Henry. There are many themes in this story and important among them are friendship and the power of positive thinking. So now let me give you the characters of this story. We have two friends called Johnsy and Sue. They are artists. And we have one more artist called Behrman. And we have a doctor. So these are the four important characters we have in this story. Now the narrator of the story, O. Henry, begins the story by describing the place where the story is set. The story, The Last Leaf, is set in a village called Greenwich in America. And there is something special about this Greenwich village. The streets in this Greenwich village are very strange. There are many curves, there are many angles, and one can find low-rented houses. One can find 18th century gables, Dutch attics, and the houses with north windows. And this is about the speciality of Greenwich village. And because of this speciality of this Greenwich village, artists from different parts of America rushed to this village called Greenwich and they established their own colony called Artists Colony. And our two characters of the story, Johnsy and Sue, also had their studio, also had their residence in the same artists colony on the third floor. They were very good friends. They became friends after meeting at a hotel called D Hot. They were not from same place. They were from two different places. One was from a place called California. The other was from a place called the Maine. So though they belonged to two different places, they became friends because they had similar tastes. They had similar interests. They both were interested in art. They both were interested in chicory salad and bishop's leaves. And because of these similar tastes, they became friends and they had their studio in the Greenwich village. Everything was fine. Both Johnsy and Sue were making their money by doing small paintings. It was okay for them. But it was in the month of November, a disease called pneumonia started infecting the people in Artists Colony. And one among the innocent victims was our Johnsy. She was severely infected and she was bedridden for several months. But there was someone to take care of her. It was none other than Johnsy's friend Sue. Sue was always there to take care of her. She was there to help her. And she also had arranged a doctor for regular health checkups. Once the doctor had come and after seeing Johnsy's condition, he said that the chances for Johnsy's recovery were very less. He said that because Johnsy had made up her mind that she would not recover from her illness. Because pneumonia had not only infected her body, it had also infected her mind. She was so fearful about the infection and that fear had made her to lose all her confidence, all her hopes, and she started thinking negatively that she is going to die. And as a doctor, whatever he could do, he did all his best. But since she had made up her mind that she was not going to recover, all his medicine, all his efforts were of no use. So he said the chances were very less and she would die. This was what the doctor said. After the doctor had left, Sue became so sad and she started crying because she was going to lose her friend. After some time, as she had to finish her painting, she had taken an assignment. She had to design a cover page. When she was busy painting something, she heard someone counting the numbers. And later she learned that it was Johnsy counting the numbers backward. And when she interacted with Johnsy, she learned that there was an ivy wild creeper next to their building. An ivy vine creeper had climbed up to a 20 feet stone wall. There was a stone wall that ivy vine creeper had climbed up to that 20 feet stone wall. And it was losing its leaves, it was shedding its leaves due to heavy rain and due to season and due to strong wind. It was losing its leaves. That ivy vine creeper had nothing to do with Johnson's illness, but Johnson had connected her illness with the falling of the leaves. She thought when the last leaf of that ivy vine creeper falls down, she would die. This was the illusion and this was the illogical fancy that Johnson had. Sue was shocked to hear this kind of illusion that Johnson had. And she had to do something to save Johnson. And now there were only 3-4 leaves. Earlier, 3-4 days ago, there were several leaves. But due to heavy rain, now there are only 4-5 leaves. Sue became so apprehensive about Johnson's condition. Then Sue got an idea. The idea was to take promise from Johnson. Sue asked her to close her eyes, not to open her eyes until she was done with her painting. The idea was to make her close her eyes, because if she kept looking at the ivy vine creeper, the leaves would definitely fall down, and once the last leaf falls down, she would die. So she thought of making her close her eyes and do something. So she said that she needed a model to complete her painting. So she went downstairs to call Behrman as a model. She needed someone to pose so that she could complete her painting. So she went downstairs to call Behrman. And Behrman was a 60-year-old man who was living in the same artist colony, who wanted to become successful. And he had a dream of painting a masterpiece in his life. But for more than 40 years, he could not do anything. But he was earning money, he was making money by serving as a model to the young artists in the artist colony. So she requested Behrman if he could become her model to complete her painting. Initially, he refused to help her, but as she offered some money, he agreed to help her. So she took Behrman upstairs and she started doing her painting. And meanwhile, she also explained Johnson's condition to Behrman if he could do something to save her life. And meanwhile, when they looked at the ivy vine creeper, all the leaves of that ivy vine creeper had fallen down. They became apprehensive. Both Sue and Behrman were worried. So they thought of doing something to save Johnson's life. Behrman decided to do something to save this innocent Johnson's life. So he took some brushes and lantern and a ladder, and he went straight to the wall, stone wall, where the ivy vine creeper was there, where it had shed all its leaves, and he started painting the leaf exactly like the leaf which was there the previous day. And he spent the whole night and designed and painted that beautiful last leaf. And the next morning, when Johnson woke up, the last leaf was still there. She was not at all aware of the painting. She was not at all aware of Behrman doing that art. She was not at all aware of all these things. When she opened the window, the last leaf was still there. She thought that it was the real leaf. And she thought that that last leaf, that leaf also would fall down the next day as there was heavy rain and strong wind. She waited the whole day, but the last leaf did not flutter, did not fall down. She thought that the last leaf would fall down during the night. But the next morning also, when she woke up, the last leaf was still there. And that is when Johnson decided to change her mindset. She thought, in spite of heavy rain and strong wind, after all, this small leaf, this last leaf is fighting for its survival. In spite of heavy rain and in spite of strong wind, it is fighting for its survival. And me, having so much strength and power, is worried about small disease called pneumonia. I should not think of dying. I should be positive. I should regain my confidence and I should definitely recover. This was the thought that she got, and from that moment onwards, her health improved by leaps and bounds. And she also spoke to her friend Sudhi that wanting to die is a sin. The next day, the doctor had come to see the other patient, Behrman. Behrman was also infected with pneumonia. You all know the reason why he was infected. He was infected because he was out there all the night doing his masterpiece to save John C's life. So he was, outside the whole night in the heavy rain and strong winds, he was infected with pneumonia. He was severely infected. So the doctor wanted to see Behrman. As he was there to see Behrman, the doctor also wanted to see Johnson's condition. So when he went to see Johnson's condition, he was shocked because there was a great improvement in Johnson's life because of positive thinking. But Johnsy was not at all aware of all this, Behrman and doing masterpiece. She was not at all aware of that. Only thing that she was aware of that, the last leaf was still there, and she also wanted to fight for her survival. So the next day, Behrman also died of pneumonia. He had sacrificed his life for innocent artist Johnsy, but she was not at all aware of that. But Sue at last wanted to reveal that the last leaf which was there, which was still there, which was still clinging to that creeper, was not the real one. It was the masterpiece done by Behrman. So finally she revealed that secret to Johnsy, and that's how that innocent Behrman, sacrificed his life, and he finally did his masterpiece. He had a dream of doing masterpiece, and he finally did it. And that small leaf, just small leaf, is considered as the masterpiece in this story. So with this, we are done with this story, The Last Leaf. Thank you.